My resilient journey, the helplessness of a girl born as the black sheep and her change of fate. This year, I am 32 years old, and my daughter has just turned 13. As I sit down to write these words, I can't help but reflect on the path that my daughter and I have traveled together. Each memory unfolds like a slow-motion movie, with every image and emotion vividly coming back as if it happened yesterday. I was born and raised in a small town where the red dirt roads were always dusty under the sun and wet from the frequent rains. My family, a devout Catholic family, was large with 9 siblings, all living together in a small house surrounded by green rice fields. I was the 7th daughter, born into a life full of challenges and difficulties from the very beginning. From the moment I was born, I was a weak and sickly child. When I was only 3 years old, I faced a severe case of appendicitis, a life-threatening condition. My parents were extremely worried and rushed me to the hospital in critical condition. The surgery was performed immediately, and during that time, my father could only wait outside the operating room, sighing helplessly. His eyes always reflected the fear that I might not survive. He often told my mother, "She is the black sheep of our family, always suffering from one illness after another. When will it end?" Thanks to the love and care of my parents and their endless prayers, I survived the surgery as if by a miracle. But my father's worry never completely disappeared. The years that followed were no easier. At the age of 12, I was struck by rheumatism, causing my legs to swell and hurt so much that I couldn't walk. My family, with unwavering faith in God, constantly prayed for me. My father, though always loving, often looked at me, sighed, and shook his head saying, "Our black sheep, what a harsh fate." After 3 long years of treatment, I was able to walk again, but that joy didn't last long. My father, though he tried to remain hopeful, couldn't hide his exhaustion as he saw me face yet another trial. When I turned 18, my life took another unexpected turn. My family decided to arrange my marriage, following tradition, to a man I had never met. I entered that marriage with fragile hopes for happiness, but reality was much more brutal. At 19, when I was pregnant with my first child, I discovered I had severe heart failure and mitral valve prolapse. The news hit me like a bolt of lightning, but what hurt the most was discovering that my husband, upon learning of my illness, had been unfaithful and abandoned me when I needed him the most. With nowhere else to turn, I returned to my parents' house, carrying with me a broken heart and a fragile body. My father, seeing me in that state, could only let out a deep sigh, shake his head and tell my mother, "Our black sheep, her life is so full of suffering." I stayed there in bed, my body reduced to only 30 kilograms, every breath dependent on an oxygen machine. Despite their pain, my family never stopped praying for me and the baby in my womb. And then a miracle happened again. I gave birth safely, although my health was so deteriorated that I had to stay in the hospital for 2 months to recover. My little daughter became the greatest motivation in my life. No matter how difficult things got, I never gave up. When my daughter turned 3, my family had to mortgage our house to pay for my heart surgery. The operation was extremely risky due to my grade 4 heart failure and a large tumor in my heart. Before the surgery, my father couldn't hide his concern, murmuring in pain, "Will our black sheep survive this time?" But once again, a miracle favored me. The surgery was successful, and after a year of recovery, I gradually regained my strength. I asked my parents for permission to move to the big city in search of work, hoping to secure a better life for my daughter and me. In the city, I could only find humble jobs due to my limited education, but that didn't discourage me. I worked hard, saving every penny for my medication and sending money home to help my parents support my daughter. Though illness frequently returned to torment me, I never lost hope for a better future for my daughter. I managed to save a little money and decided to pursue a long-held dream of mine, learning to cut hair. Every day, I worked diligently, learning from those around me, and gradually improved my skills and gained confidence. Finally, I opened a small hair salon, where I could take pride in beautifying others and in what I had achieved. My father, though he still called me his black sheep, knew deep down that he was proud of me for having overcome everything. However, when the COVID-19 pandemic hit, my salon had to close. The economic recession left me without income, and my heart condition resurfaced. I found myself on the brink of collapse, having lost everything: my salon, my health, and my last spark of hope. In my darkest moment, it was my 6th brother, who had always silently supported me, who showed me a new path. He encouraged me to use my pen to write my story, to share my experiences on YouTube. With his guidance and love, I began writing, each word soaked in tears and pain. My stories, though simple, were filled with emotion and resonated deeply with many people. I realized that in every story, there was not only pain but also strength, a belief and hope that never faded. I found solace in writing, and gradually, the pain in my heart began to ease. This girl from a small town, after enduring many storms in life, learned to stand firm, to face everything with resilience and unwavering faith. And now, looking back, I know it was the love of my family, the power of faith, and my own inner strength that helped me overcome every challenge, allowing me to write stories that touch the hearts of others.